Hey there guys, Devlon of TBI here coming at you with a deck profile. This deck profile is on my updated Linkdragon Order deck, post True Awakening of Deities, and I am very sorry I haven't been available for a while. A lot of things happen in the personal life side of things, and things are still happening. I'm still trying to deal with it, but hopefully it gets better for me, and hopefully I'm able to get some more videos out for you guys. Also, technical difficulties as well. Things were a little fritzy on the technical side as well. So yeah, but finally I got some stuff together, so let's get straight to this deck profile. So this is post True Awakening of Deities and post Dimension Destroyer and all that stuff because, you know, Dimension Destroyer came out, new support, nothing happened. I didn't give you a deck profile for the support. And True Awakening of Deities came out, which gave us a really good support. So I want to make sure to get you guys that deck profile. So of course the flag is Ancient World, and my buddy is going to be Rumbling Thunder X Agito. So he's a size 1521. He doesn't have any call cost. For one, this is the one Agito I will keep as my buddy forever because he does not have any call cost. I don't have to pay any gauge, any life just to play him. I just play him on the board. So what he does is he gives all Linkdragon Order on the field Soul Guard, and he has, of course, he has D-Share. Everything has D-Share in his deck. And his D abilities at the start of the attack phase, I can put a card from my drop zone to his card soul. So every card that's on the board with him basically gets a soul from drop, which is really nice. So pretty solid card. He allows for things to live a little longer. So like if my opponent uses counter removal in any way, shape, or form, I can survive it, which is nice. So yeah. So starting up the monsters, we got the only size 0 of the deck, Quit with Sumasaki. He will always be at 4 because he is a Garcat clone, and all Garcat clones are 4-0s in every deck. So of course I can only call if I have a card with D-Share on my board. Not really much of a cost or a condition. It might as well just not be there. When he enters the field, I get engage in a draw, and it's not once a turn. So of course, like I said, Guard-Cat clone, and his D ability is always during my opponent's turn. This card gets plus 3k defense, so he gives defense to all my monsters, which is nice. Not items because they don't have defense to begin with, so we already know that. So yeah, 4 copies of Sumasaki. So next up we have 1 copy of Investigator Manzuru. He is the item searcher of the deck. Call cost pay 1 gauge. When he enters the field, I search for a Linkdragon Order item, add it to my hand from my deck, shuffle it, and if I do not have an item equipped, I may equip an item from my hand by paying its equip cost. Of course, he has D-Share. Pretty solid card. That's all basically it about him. Next, we got 1 copy of Jason. Last time I was playing 2, now I'm only playing 1. Reasons: he is basically technically replaced by another card in the deck. But he's still in this deck because he does give that extra gauge, which is nice because I do use a decent amount of gauge in this deck. So, pretty solid card. 1 copy of Jason. Next, I play 1 copy of Hirote. I forgot to mention, this is a size 1 rush focused oriented build. So I do have a size 3 base build, but I could save that for a different video. So for this size 1 rush oriented build, I play 1 copy of Resolute Hirote. I know there are some cards that replaces him, but he's still really good because of that rush. So of course, his regular ability, whenever he attacks, for this turn, Linkdragon Order on my field gets critical +1, and his D ability is this card can't be returned to my hand or rested by my opponent's card effect, so he prevents bouncing and resting on any of my cards, which is pretty solid. Next, we got a card I really like, one of the new Linkdragon Orders to come out of True Awakening, Slowly Grun Hunme, aka Hara's Big Fat Brother. He's a 3/2/1, of course. When he enters the field, if I have another Linkdragon Order in the field, I gain 2 life. And his D ability is this card's power and critical cannot be reduced by opponent's card effects. This is the card I've been waiting for. So now the rush can go in without any consequences. My opponent cannot reduce any power. They cannot reduce any crit. I don't want to see no Loud Voice nor its clones. I don't want to see none of that. So 1 copy of this, making sure I can get my attacks in safely and without consequences. Next up, we got 2 copies of Hara. As much as a pain in the ass horror is for a lot of people, it's still it's become a little bit more lackluster now because of the fact that people got a lot of ways to get around the life. You got decks like Curse Dragons that's coming out soon that can get rid of your that can win by conditions. You got Dark Venom Dragons that can mill you out. You also got everybody can has access to the Lost World, which most of them should be playing Dimension Lifestream for this deck because Dimension Lifestream puts you to 10 life no matter how much life you're at. So I thought of that and I was like, let me bump down horror. Of course, it does make space for a lot of cards in the deck, but still having that horror for that life gain is still nice because I do pay life for some stuff, and having that in the life gain is pretty nice. So yeah, 2 copies of horror, still a solid card. Next up, I'm playing 2 copies of Thundercry and Thunderflash Agito. This is the Dimension Destroyer Agito that came out. He's a pretty solid card as well. His call cost is pay 1 gauge. I put the top card of my deck into his soul. His regular ability is if I have 3 or more cards with D-Share on my field, everything gets critical +1. With all cards, I mean, like that, which is ridiculously good for the rush. So basically, we got 3 monsters with 3 crit, an item with 2, 3 crit, whatever the item's crit was originally, and he has his own D-Share, the ability, which is whenever this card enters the field, for this turn it gets plus 10k power. So basically, you always want to play him out first if you want to have a field with him, and then everything else that comes afterwards will get the plus 10k power, which is nice. Hits over walls like Max Dragons, because Max Dragons do have a wall in one of their forms, and basically prevents my opponent from trying to like I said, wall me out, or if they're reducing my power, I put it right back up, which is nice. So 2 copies of Thundercry and Thunderflash Agito. 2 copies of my original buddy, as you can see the buddy rare, Thunder X Agito. Of course he's still in this deck. He has natural, his call cost is pay 2 gauge and top deck soul, natural penetrate and soul guard. Again, he's still in here because of his D ability, which is when he attacks for this turn, he gets double attack. So giving everybody double attack. So this and Thunderflash together, basically the 3 crit double attack, and then he has penetrate himself, so then he'll be a 3 crit double attack penetrator with 16k power if he comes in after Thunderflash, which is really nice. Pretty solid card. So we got 2 copies of Thunder X Agito. Next up, we got 4 copies of the Buddy. I already explained them at the beginning of the video. Yes, this is the Buddy rare. Why do I have 1 Buddy rare, 1 SP? I really love this deck. This is my favorite deck right now, and my main deck. So I want to fully foil out the deck, and to do that, I gotta get at least 1 Buddy or 1 SP at least. But I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm not gonna try and get no more Buddy rares. I'm good with Buddy rares. Thank you very much. But yeah, 4 copies of the Buddy. Okay, I know I said this is a size 1 rush oriented based build, but I do play the 2 copies of the Emperor Gato, which is the new size 3 version of Vegito that came out in True Awakening of Deities. Why, you may ask? He's there for certain matchups that can't handle him well. And by certain matchups, I mean God Punks, Max Dragons, basically a lot of decks that don't have a lot of penetrate, a lot of decks that have crazy big walls that I really need to get over, and a lot of decks that can't really do anything to him. So, and a lot of decks that have like weenies that can't hit walls themselves. So basically I can use him as a wall because I can put Sumasaki in the soul, of course. So what he does is he is pay 3 gauge and put up to a total of 4 Linkdragon Order monsters and Linkdragon Order from my drop zone into his soul. From field and drop zone into his soul. Spiral D-Share, he gains all the D-Share and he gets plus 2k power for each card in his soul. At the end of the attack phase, I can drop the top. Not at the end. At the start of the attack phase, which is regular ability, I can drop the top 3 cards on my. Well, I dropped the top 3 cards. It's not a choice for me. I dropped the top 3 cards in my deck, put any number of D-Share cards from among them into his soul, and he has natural penetrate, natural double attack, and natural soul guard. Finally, a size 3 Agito with natural double attack and penetrate. I do not need double attack Agito. I do not need penetrate Agito. Yes, there is a penetrate size 1 Agito. That's the trial deck one, and I don't play that one no more. But yes, finally. natural keywords. So yeah, 2 copies of this guy. Of course, like I said, I only play him for certain situations, so I'm not really gonna go into him a lot unless I really need to. So yeah, 2 copies of Emperor Geto. Next up, we got 2 copies of Linkdragon Order's Links. Of course, I still play this card. Cast cards drop top 2. I can rather pop a monster or I gain 3 gauge on life. Even if I play against a deck like Levitine that has no monsters, or I play against a deck that can't get its monsters, that prevents monster destruction, which is basically a lot of decks in the meta these days, I can still use it for the 3 gauge in life, and that 3 gauge in life saves lives. No pun intended, by the way. The 3 gauge because like I said, I use a decent amount of gauge in this deck, and being able to have that gauge available for me is really nice, and that extra life can help as well if I need that extra life. So 2 copies of Linkdragon Order's Links. Next, we got 2 copies of Chain Select. This is Linkdragon Order Link's counterpart. Again, mill top 2 for cast cost. I can rather destroy a spell or item on the field, which is a more prominent target nowadays, which is really nice to target nowadays, spells and items. Or I can gain 1 gauge and gain 3 life, and that 3 life is actually really helpful. The time I use that effect, but more importantly, I mostly use that effect most of the time when my opponent tries to impact me for game and do some burn damage for me in the game. I just go like, okay, I can't reduce the damage, but I can gain life in an attempt to live. And if I do live, I'm going in on my next turn. So yeah, it's a pretty useful card in certain situations like that. So yeah, 2 copies of Chain Select. Alright, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I just put this card right back in his deck just because I thought about it and I was like, you know what, the restand is pretty strong. So yeah, and then I was playing Linkdragon Order's Renewal. I'm not a fan of that card no more because of the fact that my buddy gives Soul Guard to everything and then gives Soul to everything, so I don't want to get rid of something that already has Soul. I basically, why did I build up the Soul into that card and I'm already going to get rid of it? No, and it only stands 1 card, so if I'm going to stand cards, I might as well stand them all, right? So yeah, I'm not going to be, but I will be frank with you, I just added this back in, so I don't know how it does in testing, but I'm going to say I play it now. 2 copies of Linkdragon Order's Oath, pay 2 gauge, counter, I could rather stand all my D-share cards in the field, or at non-counter speed, I could, for this turn, give all D-share cards on my field power plus 10,000 and critical plus 1. So having that power plus 10,000 and crit plus 1 could be really nice. Especially if you're facing Max Dragons and you have Emperor Geto, you just want to have more power just so your opponent doesn't try to get over that power, try to like buff their defenses some way to get over that power. So really nice. Again, I don't know if it's solid or not. I just put it back in, but for the sake of video, I'm gonna say it's solid. But yeah, 2 copies of Linkdragon Order's Oath. Next, we got 2 copies of Undying Dragon Order. I was playing 4. Now it is reduced to 2 because there are better nullifiers in this game, right? There are better nullifiers I can use for this deck based because of the way the deck is played. And like I said earlier about life gain can be people can get around the life gain in a lot of ways. So decided to reduce this to 2, but it's still a really solid card, still a really solid nullifier because it still can give me some extra life if I need it, still can nullify an attack and stuff like that. So yeah, 2 copies of Undying Dragon Order. Next up, we got 3 copies of Wild Guard. This is the other nullifier I was talking about when I said there are better nullifier choices because of the way the deck is played, and you'll see what I mean when I explain. So of course, it's a nullifier, so I can only cast on my opponent's turn, of course. Cast cost is drop a soul from a monster in your field. Now, before, this came out in Dimension Destroyer, by the way. Before, I didn't like it because there wasn't a lot of cards that give soul. Yes, there was King of Geto, but like I said, the deck is size 1 rushed based, and for a size 1 rush deck back in set 2, there wasn't a lot. You didn't have a lot of monsters with soul. But with the new buddy, Exploding Thunder Exegeto or Rumbling Thunder Exegeto, who gives soul to everything. This card is more alive now, and it's a really good nullifier, by the way. So whenever it nullifies the attack, then I choose an attacking monster, and for this turn it cannot stand. And the one thing I like about this, I like this how it's better than Shadow Stitches. Sometimes I can use this to nullify items, because Shadow Stitches says it can only nullify a monster attack. This I can nullify anything and thing, but I can only use the second effect on the monster, the second party effect on the monster. So, of course, can't prevent the item from standing, but I can prevent a monster from standing. So, pretty solid. So, 3 copies of Wild Guard. Next up, we got 3 copies of Bond Shield. Of course, Bond Shield is still in this deck because it's one of the best shields for this deck. Nullify the attack, put a size 1 or less from drop to hand. So, really good recursion. So, yeah, 3 Bond Shield. Next up, we got 3 copies of Sturdy Dragon Strike. Sturdy Dragon Strike is still a really good card. Basically, this is kind of our search spell because we have Linkdragon Order's Gathering, which gets 2 different D-Share cards from drop to hand. So this allows me to drop 2 different named D-Share monsters. And then I can just grab it from the drop with Linkdragon Order Gathering. If you open this in Gathering, you basically got 2 monsters on the board already. So which is really nice. And it gives you a gauge as well. So not only does it give rid of the 2 monsters in the deck, it gives you a gauge with that. So then that extra gauge is really useful. So we got 3 copies of Sturdy Dragon Strike, still a really solid card, really nice card to play. Alright, in this day and age, you kind of got to put these 2 cards together because this is the Ancient World Dynamic Duo right here. 3 copies of Divine Dragon Creation, 3 copies of Dragon Umbrella Legend. So Divine Dragon Creation, let's start with this one right here. Pay 2 life, draw 2 cards. I can only use it once per turn. And Dragon Umbrella Legend. Gain 1 gauge, gain 1 life, and draw a card. I can only use Dragon Umbrella Legend once per turn. These cards has been in this world since the beginning of since the world first came out. They have been the dynamic duo for this world. They have been the world's draw power kings, basically draw power kings out here. So yeah, of course, Divine Dragon Creation and Dragon Umbrella Legend. 3 copies of each. Next up, we got Linkdragon Order Gathering. I was talking about that earlier. Cast cost is pay 1 gauge. I did talk about one of the abilities earlier, which is grab 2 different D-Share cards from drop into hand. And then the second ability is I get to search my deck for Linkdragon Order with a Gito in its card name and add it to my hand. So pretty solid card, really nice. Of course, it's at 4 because this card does a lot for the deck. This card is, because of this card, I'm able to do a lot of consistency with the deck. So yeah, 4 copies of Linkdragon Order Gathering. Of course, we got 4 copies of Linkdragon Order's Hunt. This is my favorite Linkdragon Order spell in the whole deck. So for those who don't remember, or for those who are new to the game and don't know what this card does, cast cost, pay 1 gauge. I gain 1 life and draw a card for each monster with D-Share on my field. So if I have a full field of 3 monsters with D-Share and I play this card for 1 gauge, I'm gaining 3 life and drawing 3 cards, which is really insane consistency and draw power right there. Of course, it's outclassed by a couple other cards in other decks, in other worlds and all that stuff, but it's still one of the best draw power cards in the game, in my opinion. So we got 4 copies of Linkdragon Order's Hunt. Next up, we got 1 copy of each of the older items of the deck. This one's from set 2, this one's from set 1. And I kind of have to put them together because I want to explain each one's purpose and why I still play each one. So we're going to start with set 1 right here. Order's Axe Wild Axe, 3/1, no cast cost, no equip cost, my bad. And it can attack you if I have all the weapons in Linkdragon Order can attack you even if I have a thing in the center, a Linkdragon Order in the center. So what Order's Axe does is it prevents all my Linkdragon Order on my field's abilities from being nullified, which is still a really good thing, especially against Dragon Blood Sect, because of Bloody Eyes, who was able to nullify abilities before he forces something to swing at him, and then he has counterattack to pop him. No, I'm not messing with that. And then his D ability is during my turn, this card gets power plus 3k, so he gives plus 3k to everything on the board, which is nice. So again, nobody's basically walling me because I got a lot of ways of getting power in this deck. So that's Order Axe's explanation. Now for Wild Chain, it's a one-off, and it's rare for me to play this, but I do play it. 1 gauge and 1 life for its equip cost. Of course, has D-Share. And the reason why this card's still in the deck because of its D ability, which is this card It's penetrate, and it cannot be arrested by opponent's card effects. So it allows all my, so for a size 1 rush build, if I play this, that means all my size 1s will have penetrate, and they cannot be arrested by my opponent's card effects, which is really, really good as well. And this card has 5k power and 2 crit itself, so then it just, which is really solid stats. So yeah, that's each axis and explanation of why they're in here. Well, I don't know why this is called chain blade, it's an axe. But yeah, there you go. The 2 solid 1 of items in this deck. And then last but certainly not least, the final item in this deck, Link's Glove, Bond Glove. So 4/2, quick cost, pay 1, quick cost, pay 1 life. I was about to say gauge, I don't know why. Of course I can attack through the center because if I have a Linkdragon Order in the center, that is. Damage I take other than by attacks is reduced by 1, so yay, I like that. That's actually pretty nice. And his D ability is, this card in the field cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Huh. That sounds familiar. I wonder why. Maybe it's because it's Jason's D ability as well. Yeah, that's why I play one Jason, by the way, people. He is basically outclassed by Bond's Glove. But he is in this deck just in case I decide to play a different item like Chain Blade, which gives penetrate and prevents resting. So if I do play that, I still have the Jason for that anti-destruction ability. So which is a really, really nice option. Like, the thing I like about Linkdragon Order is the field experimentation. You can experiment with different fields for different situations. But of course, Bond Glove is probably the main item I'm going to equip most of the time because of the fact that it has the ability and it's an item, so then your opponent can't attack into it and kill it like Jason. Your opponent can't. I mean, your opponent can bounce it. I don't care. They can bounce it. I can just replay it. But yeah, and stuff like that. So 2 copies of Link's Glove, Bond Glove. And that is the deck profile for my updated Linkdragon Order deck post True Awakening of Deities. I know this video is long. I apologize. If y'all made it this far, thank you. I don't know how y'all did it. But yeah, this is if I don't know if y'all want to see any other decks I have. I do have an updated. I do have a Magic Arca deck. I'm just missing 1 card. But if y'all want to see it without that 1 card, then go for it. Comment. Tell me you want to see it. I also have God Punks, my own God Punks, because Danger World is my second favorite world, and God Punks is my second main deck. I have 2 main decks, this and God Punks. I just focus on this one more because it's a main character deck. I also have Tyrant's updated post Buddy Lineage, the size 3 Linkdragon Order deck, and I still have Oni Assassin's post Buddy Lineage as well. So those are basically all my decks right there. I did have other decks, but then I got rid of them. So comment if you want to see any of those decks for the next deck profile, if I decide to do a next deck profile. Hopefully I could. And like, comment, subscribe for more TBI and content. This is Devlon of TBI, signing off. Later, guys.